Okay, so welcome to lesson one, topic 1C. So we have done with 1A, 1B, and now 1C. Okay, so we're going to look at legacy cable types. So what mean legacy cable type? I talk about old kind of cables that are being used back in the days. So we'll look at some of them now. Okay, so now one of them is these ones. So DVI and VJ, VGA, and VGA video cables. So DVI um, is not actually legacy anyway. It's still being used up to today now. For they are the most used. So the legacy ones are most. These are the legacy ones, right? Video graphics array. So DVI is still still being used now. So digital video interface (DVI) mostly they are used projector being used in projector mostly. So they give an analog. So they are between analog and digital signal. They carry analog and digital signal. Of course, this one is mostly analog VGA cables. They're mostly analog and they have low bandwidth. So this kind of if you see these cables anywhere, you see this kind of cable on your monitor that connects to your monitor. Know this VGA is analog and they have low bandwidth. They transfer at very low bandwidth, right? Okay. So let's see these ones now. So all these are legacy cables. See, small computer system interface. All these are legacy cables. They are old cables that are being used. So now you won't see them anymore. You'll see more of USB. More of USB Type A, Type B, Type C. That we use now. All these ones are you will not be able to see them anymore. So this one is a 68 pin. Usually we call it the male type of it and the female part of it. So they are like this. So these are old version of printer cables. I'm not going to spend much time on them because they are legacy cables. So I'll just talk about them. Then we're going to move further, right? So I don't spend much time wasting your time. So this one now we have 68 pin, the male cable and the female cable. So we have them. These are the hard printers. Back then, they use this kind of cables. Some of our device for phone, telephony, they use all this kind of cable. Back then, they use all these ones. That was used that back then, right? Again, another form of data cable too. So earlier we saw the SATA cable, right? For hard drives. Back then, we don't have SATA. What we have is called data cable, IDE, integrated drive electronic interface, IDE. That was being used back then, and it's like a ribbon like this. See, a ribbon like that as I use. So the ribbon you have the first side, we call it to this side. Okay, this side you see red here. What you see now is the polarity. We call it polarity, the positive part of the cable. So that one that carry the data, the signal, the positive signals. So this red line means that if the data, just like a positive cable, the data are being carried by this or the red line. So that is if this red line cuts, if it's cut off, or maybe something just cut it off, strips off, that cable is dead, it's not going to work anymore. Right? So also we have all these ones, these connectors, these three connectors, see? All these connectors. So you have this kind of cable, they give us called master slave, master and slave. So this one goes to the motherboard, then this is the slave part of it on it, and this is what master. So what do we master and what do we slave? Let me explain. A master data, assume you have two hard drives, right? That need to be connected to your computer. So what happens is that the data cable will go to the computer motherboard. This one, the first one, so it will go to the motherboard. Then the two hard drive, one of them will connect to the slave, right? The second hard drive goes to the master. So you can decide which of them will be your master and which one will be your slave. Say you have two hard drive, right? And one of them is your main operating system. So one of them is Windows 11, right? And the other one is Windows 10. So you want your computer to always start with Windows 11. Always. When you start, let's start with Windows 11. What means that? That means that what? your Windows 11 become master, become the master. Why does the Windows 10 become a slave? So that means since you always want to start with the Windows 11, you always have to start with what? Windows. You have to connect your motherboard, your hard drive to what? The master. Which means when the computer starts, the computer is going to look for what? The master hard drive, which is the Windows 11, and going to start from there. So your Windows 11, your Windows 10 is there. If you once as soon as your Windows 11 boot to desktop environment, you can go to your Explorer and you see your Windows 10 there as a slave drive. It will appear on your Explorer. You see it there. So your computer is not booting from Windows 11, but it's booting from what on Windows. Sorry, the computer does not boot from Windows 10, but it boots from what Windows 10. Because Windows 10 it boots from Windows 11. Because Windows 11, let me take it again. So your Windows 11 is your master, is the main drive that your computer starts from. So your slave drive, which is the Windows 10, right? Windows 10 is the dormant hard drive. So you have the two hard drive now. When the computer starts, it's going to start from Windows 11 and all the way to desktop environment. Get to desktop, you can see the slave drive, which is your Windows 10. You can see it there, right? So on the motherboard, we have the ID1, ID2. It's the same way we say master and slave. The ID1 is the master, and the ID2 is what? Slave. So the master means that ID1 is the primary hard drive, which is your main, which is your master. ID2 becomes what? So you know what? On your motherboard, they are obsolete. You don't sell this anymore. We just have to know them. Now back in days now, your motherboard has these ID cables like this. So the ID1 on your motherboard is master, ID2 is the slave. So the ID1 is the primary hard drive. This is your Windows 11. ID2 is the second hard drive. This is your Windows 10, and it's same thing your slave hard drive. Okay. Okay, so here we are now, serial cable too. So we have this kind of serial cable like this back then too. So we have this kind of cable. We call it COM port PS2. Before your mouse, they are like this. They use this kind of port. Mouse now, mouse or USB. And some of us, you must have seen it. You might go to Google, just type, just so I can see it practically. I go to Google, just type um serial mouse ports. You will see it. Serial mouse. You see how they are. So that's like that, right? Remember, they all give low bandwidth. But now, and even back then too, your mouse or call PS2 mouse too. They're not USB. Check it, PS2 mouse, keyboard and mouse. Yeah, round like that. So you just go to Google. You can take a look, just explore and see how it is. Have an idea. Okay. So adapter cables, right? So we have different kind of adapter cable. For instance, now, if you have a VGA cable, right, and your VGA cable cannot connect to HDMI, what you have to do, get what? An HDMI connector, adapter that will connect to VGA. Similarly too, if you have VGA and your VGA, if you have a VGA cable and you want to project to projector or your projector, and your projector does not have HDMI, buy HDMI ports, buy the adapter, connect it together that can transfer. So you can do HDMI to VGA, HDMI to DisplayPort, HDMI to DVI, each of them, right? All these are way you have to be. There also too your USB, you can buy the USB, USB cable. So they're just a small cable that will give you where you can connect type A and type B. They're like hubs, they have port provision. You can connect your type A, even your lightning cable, tunnel board. So you just have a port, you just buy them and be able to give you all this provision. Right? Okay. So that is all for um lesson one. That's all for lesson one, right? So what we have here is just small troubleshooting stuff. We just see some small things, keyboard not working, but we don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need that. At the end of the class, the end of this session, we will look at some. At the end of this class, we will look at at the end of the A plus class, we have time to look at some troubleshooting tips. But for now, you're just starting. So all these things will look too difficult for you. So towards the end of your class, after core one, core two, you can be able to do this. So I would advise you stick to my channel. Stick to my channel. My channel is Tech Aeon. I'm the anchor of Tech Leon. I'm going to give you more trainings. I'm going to from all the way from A plus to networking, from networking to cyber security. So you have so much to learn, so much to learn. So stick with my channel to with time to giving you latest update in the tech world. So this is a very good channel. Subscribe to my channel and as well advise you to tell your friends, tell people about our channel, about my channel, tell them about this channel where they can learn hands-on, practical explanation and everything. So like I said, 20 years experience. I have 20 years experience in this field, 20 years certifications all around. I have Cisco certification for networking, MCSE, all certifications. In terms of cyber security, I have all. Besides, I have a master degree in computer science from the University of Fulham in London. So you have so much to benefit from joining our channel. So follow our channel. Our next video, we're going to go to straight to lesson 2. So we are done with all of lesson 1. So thank you for watching for sticking and staying along and watching our videos. I'll see you all in lesson 2. Bye.